What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to another Call on Tyrone. Haven't done one of these in a while, but we're here with Mr. Cody from the C3 podcast. Covers everything Carolina. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to join you tonight. Excited for this matchup. Got a lot to break down, and happy to be here with you, Tyrone.
Hey man, always good to see you. Everybody, if you guys are here, you guys know Cody. We've done multiple Carolina shows, and we did the Cam Newton. The most popular show was the Cam Newton versus Matt Ryan
That was
debate
fun.
we had. But always thankful to have Cody. But get into this matchup: 3-3, 3-4.
Yeah.
Kind of sort of like last year a little bit, like where we were both. We hadn't won a game. I think we won a game. I think we had won one by that point, but we were both not at the hottest points of our, and it's the same thing this year. Hawks,
Yeah.
Falcons on a 3-game win streak. Carolina coming off a very disappointing loss versus the Giants. I mean, that was nothing. Was it the Giants? Yeah, it was the Giants.
Yeah.
So for you going in this week, what are your expectations? Is it a bounce back week? Is Sam Darnold, or is he going to be the guy in New York again?
Man, listen, it's really been a tale of the first half of this season and the second half of this season. Started out 3-0, and we looked good. Our defense was putting up record numbers, not letting anyone run the football. Christian McCaffrey was doing his thing, and Sam Darnold was looking good. I mean, he had a few 300-yard passing performances in a row, and we were thinking, okay, well, what we all thought could happen to Sam during the offseason potentially ended up being true, that this would be a place where we would be able to rehabilitate his career, for lack of a better saying. But then we ended up finding out the hard way that it's not that simple. It really feels like the Panthers have just taken a backward step in every way imaginable. But one of the ways it starts with is the Panthers' offensive line. It's just bad, man. It's one of the worst offensive lines in football, in my opinion. I've been saying that on our show. And, if Sam was ever going to be successful, he needed better protection than what he had in New York. Because then it doesn't matter how much of an upgrade the Panthers receivers are. He just isn't going to have time to get in rhythm. And, they're not going to be able to do anything on offense effectively. So these past 4 games that we've lost, we thought that we were going to win all of them. And we thought that we should have won them handedly. But that's just not how it happened. And even though our defense is kind of injured and we're missing some players, but overall, our defense is still playing well, but they're just not pitching shutouts, which apparently is what you have to do with this Carolina Panthers offense. So, no, this is a division matchup. I mean, it certainly isn't, an easy matchup for either of us, I feel like, for either of our teams. But I would not be surprised if this is a very low-scoring football game. The Panthers' offense is just kind of in a bad way right now, and I don't know what it's going to take in order to actually make it better.
Yeah. I think for Atlanta, the old. I mean, let's think about like I said, 3-game winning streak for us. It's kind of. I don't think if you're Carolina, you kind of sort of want to go into what this Falcons team has done over the last 3 weeks. So you get the Jets, which should have been a blowout. The defense, gets shaky towards the end.
Yeah.
Then you go. You basically win this week. You go in. You kind of sort of just beat Miami. It's a comeback. It's a win where you feel better about this team because Matt Ryan is going to be Matt Ryan, and then you beat the Giants, which is weird because everybody wants to discredit the Giants about what they're doing, the wins they have, but they beat Carolina and they beat the Saints. So, I mean, you can't really discredit them for being you can be like, oh, they're a bad team, but they beat 2 pretty
Yeah, and we should have
Not even
won.
3 now or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're not bad. See Matt Ryan do 2 comebacks in 1 season. I mean, this
Hey, you're kind of breaking up on my end.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, you went silent for like
am I back?
five whole seconds. Yeah, your audio is, but your webcam isn't.
Yeah, I turned my camera off. I had to turn it off real quick. But
Okay.
yeah, we get to, we get into last week. We put up a good amount of points. Defense still looks shaky, but complimentary football. It's kind of sort of what we're looking for now. Everything now has been complimentary football. We kind of sort of went to offense to not offense has a long drive, and the defense can basically be rested when they get on the field. But sometimes it doesn't work in football. But these last couple of weeks, Kyle Pitts has shown out. Kyle Pitts has turned into what I think people wanted him to be, and he's had 3 weeks back to back with 100+ yards. And so that's and he's happy when he gets one-on-one matchups. So for you guys in Carolina, are you gonna double team him linebacker, corner, or because Calvin? I'm gonna be honest with myself. Calvin Ridley hasn't looked like Calvin Ridley. So
right, that's what I've heard.
So do you think you can go double team Kyle and leave Calvin by himself, or is it still the fact that Calvin Ridley can just have a breakout game?
Well, so I mean, listen, anything technically is possible, but I'm really disappointed because the matchup that I wanted to see, and the reason why I was so excited after this draft was because I think the Panthers and the Falcons both drafted a player that's going to have to go up against each other for years to come, and that's J.C. Horn and Kyle Pitts. And sadly, J.C. Horn isn't going to play. He's still on IR, recovering from a foot surgery. We might get him back later this year. But in this matchup, I would imagine that Kyle Pitts is probably, for the most part, going to be put on Jeremy Chin, or strong safety. And some people think that's a bad matchup because Jeremy Chin, while very physical and aggressive, and he's a fantastic tackler, and his speeds to the football, he kind of has some deficiencies in coverage. And so I think that people are thinking that potentially this could be a good matchup for Kyle Pitts. But I don't know. I think, with the Panthers getting back Shaq Thompson, he's been missing for the past 2 games. I think that'll be a big spark to our defense. And then another thing that I think really will ultimately end up helping is this will be the first time that the Panthers will get to see Stephon Gilmore in action since trading for him. He's been dealing with an injury, and then he's been kind of worked slowly back into the offensive game plan. So I'm really hoping that, now that we have CJ Henderson out there, we're going to have Stephon Gilmore. Wherever they put Kyle Pitts on the field, I imagine that we'll be able to have a good matchup for him. The only person that I wouldn't want to see on Kyle Pitts is Dante Jackson, just because it's a size mismatch. Kyle is just a much bigger, longer man. So, but other than that, I think we have good weapons to be able to hopefully combat Kyle.
Yeah. And for your offense, we've seen, CMC goes down again. And every year it's just, I know I'd be like, not rude, but like every year it's something. Every year it's happened with CMC. He gets hurt.
I won't disagree with you, man.
And I hate seeing it because he's such a I don't know if he needs to bulk up. I don't know what it is, but every year it just seems like something happens to where he gets it's something with either his lower body. I don't know what was this year, upper body. I know it was lower body the last couple of years.
Well, so this year it's a hamstring. It's a left hamstring. We had 3 players that got hurt in that Dallas Cowboys game, and they're all pretty much blaming the Cowboys turf. and it being Thursday night football. But Shaq Thompson, J.C. Horn, and Christian McCaffrey got hurt. And see, Christian McCaffrey, I'm very rigid in the kind of players that I think you should pay. And the Panthers have a history of overpaying at the running back position. We famously did it with Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. So the fact that we then, as soon as Christian McCaffrey has a 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards kind of season, we pay Christian all this money, and now he's been hurt both of these years. He's missed something like 18 of Matt Rule's 24 games that he's been a head coach. And the worst part about it is our offense just falls apart without him. And it's really unacceptable because the Panthers, they had the same scenario last year and they weren't able to compensate for it then. You would have hoped that Joe Brady, our offensive coordinator, would have been able to make the necessary adjustments to, spread the ball around, but that really just hasn't been happening, and the offensive line has continued to regress. So it's kind of like a number of different issues that all affected the Carolina Panthers offense all at once. So it's been rough, but I think the game plan is just try and spread the football around, get the ball out of Sam's hands quickly, and try and establish some sort of rushing attack with Chuba Hubbard. And we've been fairly impressed with Chuba Hubbard filling in for Christian McCaffrey at that running back position. He's not that much of a pass catcher, but he is a really strong in between the tackles runner, and he's been doing the job. So I think it'll be a good matchup with Deion Jones and those guys that you have on defense. Like I said, I can see it being a very low scoring affair.
Yeah, I think I was going to ask you about Chuba because that was a guy I had for the Falcons draft on our draft board when we were looking at running backs, and I was like, well, Chuba's one that's going to drop. He's going to be a low, he's going to be a low draft pick, but he could be a high outcome type of guy. And knowing that you guys like him, I'm like, yeah, because if you watch Chuba Hubbard's film at Oklahoma State, he wasn't a bad running back. I think the reason I think it messed his draft stock up is that he left a year late. Really and truly, he could have left his junior year and he didn't. He went and stayed his 4 years.
Yeah,
and it kind of sort of hurt his draft stock. So, that's the only thing about those guys. Y'all has nothing to do with paying them. The problem is they're not able to practice in full pads anymore during the week. I think. Yeah, I haven't seen full pads unless it's like training camp. Every time you see pictures of guys, you never really see them in full pads throughout the week. I think maybe like Wednesday is like the full pad day, but they don't even. It's like one day a week, so it's not like.
And then all these NFL players pretty much universally, even though they're being paid for it, they hate Thursday night football just because the physical recovery. It doesn't give you enough time to play another football game and be physically able to go. So much of your healing cycle, it takes a number of days before you're back and ready to play and practice again. So that quick turnaround, there's always just so many injuries on Thursday nights that it's almost like you expect it at this point, kind of.
Because must think Monday is right in a full week. If you have a full week, you go Monday is film, Tuesday, you go out on the field, Wednesday on the field, Thursday, Thursday you're on the field, or when either you're not on the field, you're doing something on either inside, outside, something like that on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are kind of sort of your travel days, and then unless you're at home. But those are usually your rest days if you're at home, and then Sunday you get ready for the game. So to go from cutting that really in half to 3 days, where Monday is practice, Tuesday is practice, and Wednesday you travel, is really not healthy for those guys. Let's be honest. That's not a healthy schedule because you have no recovery time. You can't go 2 days with and think, oh yeah, I'm ready to go for another football game, because Wednesday you're getting ready to go. You're getting ready to get on the road. So it's such a hard schedule for that, and that's why I say for you, like you said, like that's you expect kind of sort of the injuries on Thursday night, because you're like, yeah, these guys aren't ready to go. Which is weird when you see high scoring Thursday night games, because you're just like, man, these guys. I know, like, I understand you get that extra week. It's kind of sort of like an extra week off though, because you get Thursday and you get the rest of that whole next week off. Well, not like off, but you still got enough of the time to rest. But it's still it's a daunting task to really think about.
Yeah, one of the things my co-host says is that especially since they added an extra game to the season, now it's a 17-game season. He's been a fan of the idea of giving another bye week. Like if you play Thursday night football, like add an extra bye week before they play that Thursday night football game or something like that, so that way they would have time to prepare and heal up, or give them one after. I don't know. It just definitely seems that there should be a better way to do it. But hey, it is what it is, though, man. The Panthers, so much of this NFL season for every team is getting healthy at the right time. And what is hopeful is that we do have some players that are coming back for us. Like I said, Shaq Thompson hasn't played 2 weeks in a row. He's been a very big part of our defense this year. Frankly, he was having his a real career year before those 2 games that he went down. He's wearing the new number 7 now. So he was playing very good football. We're definitely happy to have him back. So yeah, man, it's definitely interesting, man. I hate losing to Atlanta, man. I know it's that division rivalry that we've got going on. And I don't think the Panthers have won in the new Mercedes stadium y'all got yet. So we're trying.
Y'all didn't win last year?
Was it last year? Maybe it was.
I think it was.
I could be misremembering that.
Let me see. I think it was last year you guys beat us at home, because we beat y'all in Carolina. Because that was the infamous Julio. I'm going to be a Falcon for life interview after that game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. That's why I remember it.
Yep. I remember that. You're right.
But getting into like our defense, while our defense is Deion Jones, Foyer, Grady Jarrett. Those are your main 3. AJ Terrell, I hope he plays. But we know he's got his second concussion in about a month. So this is not good for him this season to go 2 back-to-back. But like you said, you're missing J.C. Horn, who was your young, up and coming, and then we're missing AJ Terrell, who was our. But the thing is, with these young guys, we're getting to see a lot more.
Has AJ been officially ruled out?
I know it was something to. Let me see, because I know they said he didn't practice most of this week.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's gonna play, but I know he missed these last couple weeks. Limited. He was limited on Wednesday.
Limited. Okay. So yeah, we had a Falcons guy on our podcast, and he was saying that he potentially could play, but then also might not too.
Yeah, they said Scott Blair said they said he was a full participant on Thursday. So he was a full participant today, which might mean he'll actually play. So we never know. But that's like what I don't like this new concussion. I mean, I understand the concussion protocol, but I don't like what what's his name did. What is his name? What they did to Darnold. Not Darnold. In New York.
Cam?
I can't even say when he almost passed out on the field, then the next week they just throw him out on the field. I was like, that doesn't
Daniel Jones?
Yeah, Daniel Jones. When Daniel Jones almost passed out versus Dallas, and then the next week he got thrown out right back on the field. So I was like, that's not something I want to see. I think, but for us, we're getting a little bit more. We're getting healthy. Like I said, we're getting healthy as well. Eric Harris is finally back after getting hurt. He got hurt. He's back. So we're getting these guys back slowly but surely, and I think really it's going to be a youth movement in the next couple of years, especially in Atlanta on our defensive sides with Dean Pease. He's going to find these pieces that he likes. Like he had Jalen Hawkins, who has both our interceptions this year. Richie Grant is slowly but surely trying to get into rotation.
Yeah.
But it's gonna slowly and surely. That's what it's getting into. We still trying to, and I think the funny thing about it is that I don't know if you've been watching our waiver wire and stuff like. All we've been getting is D tackles to put on the practice squad. I guess we're really and truly trying to find Brady a team, as we like to say, a best friend. Finding him a best friend, somebody that he can, somebody that'll eat up blocks, which is really what you kind of sort of want for Grady, because Grady on a one-on-one is a dangerous game, but to have somebody that can eat up at least 2 blocks, like a big nose, and you haven't seen us go a lot 3-4 this year because of the fact we don't have a real nose tackle on this team. So every guy we're bringing in now has been huge. Pinnell, we brought in who's like 6'4", 3 something. We just brought in another guy. We brought in this Monday. We brought in another guy that's really big. So everything now is trying to find him a best friend. But our defense is slowly but surely coming together. We're blitzing a lot, which is the Dean Pease way. You're definitely going to see you're going to see a lot of blitzes. You're going to see a lot of Dion, which Dion got NFC Player of the Week this week, which is a big accomplishment. Literally and truly, like you're going to see Dion and Foyer come out, and it's a forefront. It's funny because it's a forefront, and they're just coming off. They're coming up the middle. They're coming off. You just don't know who's blitzing because he'll blow the lineup and then just throw some random people at you when they go in his zone. Which is what, if you watch football, Dean Pease's defense. That's what he's done for years.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a fun, like I said, I think everybody knows this is gonna be a fun battle. Because that's Matt Rule is going up against a vet on defense. So you get to see Matt Rule versus the Dean Pease and see what he can do. But for you, what are your, I'm gonna say predictions, but what are your offensive for you guys? Like, what do you think your offense is gonna do?
Yeah, I think our offense is really going to try and just get the ball out of Sam Darnold's hand and try and run the football. I think our receivers are having a terrible time this year with drops. We're like the number 1 rated team for dropped passes amongst receivers. It's really been crazy, man. Like I said, a confluence of issues on offense have really led to this offensive downslide. I'm hoping that we're able to take some shots, but again, you were talking about your defense, and one of the things that's been happening is our offensive line is just making opposing defensive lines look good. So I don't know if you guys have been generating a lot of pressure with a 4-man rush or what have you, but look, if you need a get right game, well, against our offensive line, it might be that. And I wish I could say it was different, but everyone from Cam Irving to Matt Paradis to Pat Elflin, that entire left side of our offensive line has just been abused all year. So if we're not able to give Sam some kind of protection, it could be a long day. Because when our defense is having to hold off Matt Ryan for 4 quarters and trying to limit their offensive production, like even if we do well in the first and second quarter, the Panthers offense the past 4 weeks in a row, they haven't put up anything on the board in the third quarter outside of a few field goals. We're really not very effective after halftime. So, I can see Matt Ryan getting a big time play, sometime in the third quarter to Kyle Pitts or Ridley or whoever it is. And our defense is just tired and on the field and constantly having to, make up for this offense that can't move the football. So if the Panthers can't get some kind of pass protection, then it's going to be a really long day for us.
Yeah, I think for any team that plays the Falcons, if we can get, that's why I say Grady just needs a teammate, like just a best friend to get you some pressure up the middle. Because I'm not afraid of Sam Darnold running to the edge. So I feel like we have enough edge, edge contain. I'm scared of Aaron Donald running up the middle and going for a 10, 15-yard gain right up the middle because we don't have somebody pushing them, like holding the blocks up the middle. So I think that's the part for us is that you got to have some type of push. And if we go into this week, like if this game turns into a Raiders game last year, I think we had, I forgot how many sacks we had versus the Raiders last year. But if they give us a game like that, if you guys give up a game like that, then it might be a different thing for this defense because they're gonna get confidence. Especially if we get, we like the Raiders game. I think almost half the front seven had a sack or something like that. So if they can get into something like that, you give us confidence. And like I said, I think everybody in Atlanta kind of sort of wants to go above 500. And then you guys are you guys at 5? I think you're above 500, below 500.
Right now we're 3-4.
Yeah. So I think you would want to get to 500. I think we want to give above 500. That's what makes this game a little bit more interesting because we got to fight. Like it's gonna have to be a fight. Like it's gonna be a dog fight. It's gonna be a battle. Just to see who's gonna win. Because I would love to just beat Carolina because of the last year and you beating us. And I'd rather it be flipped. I never like losing the rival teams at home. I can take losing on the road, but I can't take losing one at home. But we're gonna go ahead and get into our predictions for the game. I'll let you go first. Just give your general overview of the game and then what you think the score will be.
I've been going back and forth, and I'm gonna have to keep it a buck and stay consistent with what I did on the Tuesday night podcast. And until this offense can actually put up a performance that I can believe in and trust, I picked Atlanta. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I could even see something like 21-17, maybe even lower. So I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah, I think for me, like Wilder said, we need to get a home win. We need one. For me, I think it's really going to be I think, like I said, it's going to be a dogfight. So I give us I think we win 21-14 or 21-17. But it's going to be a really tight game throughout the whole game. And if it turns into a blowout, I'd be very shocked. And the only thing I think that happens if Sam Darnold starts seeing ghosts out there. That'd be the only way I think we get into a blowout. But shout out, thank you, Cody, for coming on. Shout yourself out, give yourself some promotion. I'll give you some free promo.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on, Tyrone, and you can find me at the C3 Panthers podcast. We've really upped the number of shows that we've been doing, so you can join us every Tuesday night at 9 p.m., but also we're doing a Friday show now at 7 p.m., and it's for literally anyone to join. You can come on, Tyrone, if you want to. It's the Friday free-for-all where people can come on and give their own opinions on the Carolina Panthers and the football team, and really just the NFL in general. If you want to come on and hang out and talk football, you're absolutely welcome to. You can find me on Twitter at Cody Lack. You see it right there in the stream, at Cody Lack on Twitter. I'm pretty good at responding to people, and and following people back when they follow me. And also, you can find my written content and written work at drafttech.com, where I write first round comments for the Carolina Panthers, first and second round comments. So, yeah, check out the C3 Panthers podcast if you want to listen to some Panthers talk. And that's it. I'm happy to have joined you today, Tyrone.
Always, always. Thank you guys. I think the score can be higher than that because we get, yeah, that's true. It can be it can get to being a high scoring game, but I think both sides. Do you think both the Falcons would make a trade before the deadline? I don't know. I don't know who we would trade for. And cap space in Atlanta is so tight at this point. It's not known by a lot of people we can trade for. And of course, I don't know for Carolina. You can go ahead and answer that, Cody.
I mean, the Panthers, it really depends on if we're going to lose this football game, to be honest. If it's starting to look bad, I would hope that we would be looking to trade away some players just to get some draft capital. We have a good bit of cap space right now, but we have to continue to build the offensive line, and we only have one pick in the top 100 of next year's draft. So we can't really be trading away more future assets. Even though we were in the talks for potentially landing Deshaun Watson, which who knows how we would have been able to pull that off, even if we could have done that. But yeah, I don't know. Scott Fitterer, our new first-year general manager, has been much more active than any of our previous GMs. So I really can't say for certain what he plans on doing, but I would intend that the Panthers, their name will probably be called at some point around the trade deadline.
I think I don't even know. I didn't even know that about you guys not having a pick and only one pick in the top 100 because they were talking about Deshaun Watson, and I'm like, he wants the king ransom. So how is that going to happen? So that's really surprising they even put you guys in that talk. But I don't think we're going to make any trades for the deadline because we need to keep all the picks we have. Yeah, unless we're trading somebody to give us more picks, I don't think we do any trades. And I think really and truly, some of the guys we didn't bring back on our fifth-year options, I think they're going to be, which is we brought really back. But I think Hayden Hurst, I think declining his fifth year was smart because I think that gives you a chance to give him a cheaper contract. And give him a long-term contract would make it cheap, which is kind of sort of what a lot of teams – it's weird because Terry Fontenot, if you look at how the Saints get away with a lot of their cap stuff, it's kind of sort of what Terry's – he's learned that down there. He's been there for 20-some years. So he's learned that. He's brought it kind of sort of to Atlanta, like cutting Brandon Copeland before he got his signing bonus and then signing him right back. Like it's stuff like that saves you money and that you really want to look at. So – I don't think we trade anything, though. I don't think there's a person on this team that gets traded. But like I said, thank you, Cody, again for coming on. You guys know my schedule is a little bit busy. I'm in Tallahassee right now. So Friday night jackpot, I might be on. Well, let's say this. I will put a community post out about Friday night. If I do Friday night jackpot, it will be super late. Because I'll probably be on Friday Night Madness on Mad Mike's channel. So please go over to AFN, subscribe. K Styles, go to his channel, go to Mad Mike's channel, subscribe to those guys because I'll be on there a lot. And then Saturday night, big game, Georgia versus Florida. They're probably one of the biggest games you're gonna have all weekend. Yeah, so I'll definitely try to get on for that, even though I will be at FAMU's homecoming, so I will be covering both at the same time. So make sure you keep up on our Twitter at FILA SP and on my Twitter. Call on Tyrone ATL. But thank you guys. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Let me get to it. Peace.